Tonight, you will close a door. You will lock it. You will lie down alone, in silence, in total darkness, under a blanket that costs more than your ancestors' entire wardrobe, and you will call this normal. But for nearly all of human history, what you're about to do would have looked like a death wish. Think about it. A locked door, a silent room, one body, alone, defenseless, for 8 straight hours. Your ancestors didn't sleep like this. They couldn't. Sleeping alone, in silence, in the dark, was one of the most dangerous things a human being could do. So, how did we get here? And what did we lose along the way? Let's start with the dark. You flip a switch, and the room goes black. You don't think twice about it. But for over 99% of human history, true darkness meant something else entirely. It meant predators. It meant enemies from rival groups. It meant every sound outside the firelight could be the last thing you ever heard. Anthropologist Carol Worthman spent years studying sleep in small-scale societies, from foraging groups in Africa to agricultural communities in South America. What she found upended the assumption that human sleep is naturally private. Across nearly every traditional society she studied, people slept in groups, multiple bodies, multiple sets of eyes and ears, taking turns, even unconsciously, staying alert. Sleep wasn't a solo act, it was a group defense strategy. Now picture your bedroom. One person, one door, silence you paid for. To your ancestors, that wouldn't look peaceful. It would look like abandonment. Here's the part that gets stranger. You probably think humans are supposed to sleep for 8 uninterrupted hours. That's the goal, right? 8 hours. No waking, no tossing. Straight through until morning. But that idea is almost entirely modern. Sleep researcher Jerome Siegel led a landmark study observing 3 remote groups with no electricity: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, and the Tezimane of Bolivia. These are populations living the way humans lived for most of our history, and none of them slept in one continuous block. They woke up, they dozed, they talked in the dark, went back to sleep, woke again near dawn. Their average sleep, tracked with wrist monitors, came out to about 6.5 hours a night, broken into pieces. 6.5 hours. Fragmented. No naps to make up for it. And yet, none of them reported insomnia. Not one. The condition didn't exist in their vocabulary. Why? Because broken sleep wasn't a disorder. It was the baseline. Your body evolved expecting interruption, not immunity from it. So when you wake at 3 a.m. and panic that something is wrong with you, ask yourself this: what if nothing is wrong? What if your body is just doing what it has done for 200,000 years? There's more. Historian Roger Ekirch dug through centuries of court records, diaries, and medical texts from pre-industrial Europe and found something remarkable hiding in plain sight. Before artificial light became common, people didn't sleep in one block, even in their own beds at home. They slept in 2 segments. A first sleep, lasting a few hours after dark. Then a period of quiet wakefulness in the middle of the night, sometimes an hour or more, where people prayed, talked, tended the fire, or simply lay in the dark thinking. Then a second sleep until morning. This wasn't rare. It was so common that the phrases first sleep and second sleep appear casually in old letters and legal testimony, the way you'd mention breakfast or lunch. Nobody explained the term. Everybody already knew what it meant. Then, within a few generations, it vanished almost completely. What changed? Light. Cheap, artificial, always available light. Once people could push back the dark at the flick of a switch, the natural rhythm of first sleep and second sleep collapsed into the single unbroken block. You now think is the only correct way to sleep. You didn't evolve into monophasic sleep. You were engineered into it by gaslight, then electricity, Then a mattress industry that sells you the promise of sleeping through the night, like it's a medical achievement instead of a historical accident. Now think about temperature. Your bedroom probably sits around 70 degrees, maybe cooler if you like it that way. Controlled, constant, predictable. Your ancestors had none of that. They slept exposed to the actual rhythm of the night, cooling as the hours passed, warming again near dawn. That temperature drop wasn't a discomfort to eliminate. It was a signal, a cue that told the body, sleep now, this is the window. Modern climate control doesn't just make you more comfortable, it erases one of the oldest alarm clocks your body has ever known. And what about the silence? You probably think of a quiet bedroom as the gold standard for good sleep. White noise machines, soundproofing, earplugs. But near total silence, to a Pleistocene brain, isn't restful. It's suspicious. Silence meant something had gone still that shouldn't be still. Even now, deep in a modern bedroom, part of your brain is still listening for a threat that never comes. That's why an unfamiliar creak at 2 a.m. can spike your heart rate faster than almost anything else in daily life. You're not being paranoid. You're running ancient software on new hardware in an environment it was never built for. Here's the twist nobody expects. Your bedroom, the safest room in your entire home, is also the most biologically unfamiliar space you occupy all day. You're more isolated, more silent, more sealed off from your group while sleeping than a human being has ever been at any other point in our species' history. And your body knows it. That's part of why so many people lie awake at night with racing thoughts, phantom worries, a low hum of unease they can't explain. It's not always stress from your job or your relationships. Sometimes it's simpler than that. Your nervous system is alone in the dark for the first time in 200,000 years, and no one told it that's supposed to be safe. So what do you do with that? You're not going back to a cave. You're not inviting 6 relatives to sleep in a pile on your bedroom floor, though Worthman's research suggests that's closer to what your body actually expects. But there are smaller threads you can pull. A partner or a pet in the room changes your sleep architecture, not just your mood. Shared sleep space has been linked to lower reported anxiety before bed. Waking at 3 a.m. and lying there, unbothered, instead of reaching for your phone, is closer to your biological default than 8 flawless hours ever was. Even keeping a room slightly cooler at night isn't just a comfort preference. It's syncing your environment back to a rhythm your body has been waiting for since before recorded history. None of this means modern sleep is wrong. It means modern sleep is new, untested by evolutionary time. A single, brightly lit, hermetically sealed experiment that your body is still, quietly, adjusting to. So tonight, when you close that door, lock it, and lie down alone in the dark. Remember what you're actually doing. You're running one of the strangest experiments in human history, alone, every single night, and calling it ordinary.